All right, hey guys, welcome to this edition of the LA Sports Hub podcast. We have another guest joining the show to talk about some hockey and Stanley Cup playoffs today. Go ahead and introduce yourself to the Sports Hub audience.
Hey, I'm Craig Hagerman, hockey editor at The Score.
So game one was last night between the Sharks and the Penguins. Can you tell us what you saw from the game and any major takeaways from the beginning of the final?
I thought one thing that was really interesting was it seemed like almost every period was kind of one-sided in its sense. I mean, we saw first period, Pittsburgh came out flying, 2 quick goals, and it kind of looked like they might almost run away with it, and then flip it to the second, and then San Jose responds with 2, and kind of looks like they could have run away with it. And so I think that hopefully if that's a sign for what the series is going to be, it should be very tight. And I think it's kind of what everybody expected kind of going into it. So it was a really good first game. And if that has anything to show, I mean, I think fans are in for a treat.
And so since Pittsburgh got away with game one, how much do you think home ice really factored into that?
I don't think it is huge. I mean, it was such a tight game, and realistically this season, San Jose has had one of the best road records in the regular season, and they've actually had a really good home record at home. And so I think it's really kind of up in the air and doesn't really factor in too much. I believe at last count during the postseason, teams were kind of 50-50 on home ice. So I mean, I think home ice is obviously, it's nice to have the crowd on your side, but I don't think it's necessarily playing out and giving teams as big advantage as they maybe like.
So for a lot of people, I think the Sharks were not necessarily a favorite in the Western Conference. Normally, I think when it comes to at least like an expert prediction, you would see teams like Chicago or Los Angeles, teams like that kind of up there, kind of expected to do at least decent. And we saw a lot of those really good teams drop out in the first and second round, ending up with the Blues and Sharks Western Conference Finals and the Penguins and Lightning Conference Finals in the East. So what does this do reaching the final, even if San Jose or Pittsburgh, if whichever team doesn't win, what kind of confidence builder is this for them, like right here, right now, for the immediate future?
Well, I think for San Jose, they kind of really get over the hurdle of kind of being seen as a choke team, and thought they get up 3-0 and against LA, and everyone thinks it's series over, and we all know how that ended. So I think kind of for them, almost getting past like a mental hurdle is probably great for them, and knowing that they can do it, and they're kind of distancing themselves from San Jose teams of the past.
Yeah.
And then as for Pittsburgh, I think it's really huge just because given, after adding Phil Kessel in the offseason and such, like everyone thought they were going to be just this powerhouse. And they really, I believe in December, they were closer to last place than they were first. So, so the fact that they were able to turn it around, and now we're actually seeing that they could get somewhere, and, Matt Murray playing the way he is, I mean, kind of gives you some confidence knowing, given what Fleury is usually doing in the playoffs, which is kind of choking. So kind of gives them kind of, I guess, good to know that the future might be bright between the pipes for them.
And from the fan perspective, from watching the game, does having two teams that aren't usually in this kind of situation, is it more exciting for you, or would you prefer to have two juggernauts going at it?
Oh, I definitely prefer to see teams that usually aren't there. I mean, I was predicting that Chicago would be there, just given who they are and the additions of Andrew Ladd and such at the deadline. But, I mean, it's great to see. Usually San Jose's been a team that I've kind of thought would make it, and they've always kind of disappointed. So just good to see, the different teams be there. And, as for Pittsburgh, they've always been in the playoffs, but they've kind of struggled to go past rounds 1 or 2. So I think it's better for fans, especially fans of those cities, to finally get to see their teams kind of battle at it.
So would you say that Chicago losing so early would be the biggest disappointment for you in the Western Conference?
Yeah, in the Western Conference probably. Especially, they looked like they were really kind of bulking up to kind of repeat again. But I think that's also kind of could be just fatigue. They've played so much extra hockey over the last few years that, I don't think Chicago, the team, or probably the fans are probably, that disappointed, given they've been kind of lucky enough with 3 cups the last few years that
Yeah.
they've been spoiled. So,
So back to the Sharks and the Penguins. Moving forward with what we all hope is 6 more games. Obviously, that's not guaranteed yet, but we're all kind of hoping for a 6-7 game series. What really comes down to being the X factor for San Jose, and then what's the next factor for Pittsburgh to get the cup?
for San Jose, I think almost just keep playing the way they have. I mean, I think they try to show, at least on the Sportsnet side, that they were trying to do matching up against Crosby a bit to start last night, and so I think they just almost need to get away with don't really worry too much about the other team. Do your thing, because it got you there.
Right.
So Martin Jones, I know he's been solid all playoff, but once in a while he has questionable games. I think he was solid last night. I wouldn't really blame him for that, but they just stick to what they're doing. They should be fine.
What about an MVP for the series?
MVP for the series, probably Matt Murray. I think San Jose's, their offense is so deep and they're so balanced that if Pittsburgh can kind of come out on top, I think he'll be very much a reason for that.
And next season, assuming a lot of things would stay the same in terms of roster spots and as much as possible with San Jose and Pittsburgh, do you see the potential for a rematch in the Cup final next year?
Yeah, there's always the chance. I mean, it's crazy because who would have thought these teams would have been here to start in the first place? So, but I think for San Jose, Martin Jones, he's really just coming off his first season as number 1, and so I think he's only going to get better as they grow. They might, because guys like Pavelski and Thornton and Marlowe are obviously they're getting older. Obviously, they can still play, but to expect probably better years. I think that might be a stretch, but you never know. They have also a lot of young talent, like Donskoy and Hurdle. They really kind of come to the forefront, and they're just going to get better. So, there's always a chance. And with Pittsburgh, the talent is clearly there. I think they still would probably like to upgrade their defense a little bit. But
yeah, probably.
When you have a roster of Crosby, Malkin, and Kessel, expect good things from a team like that.
You're in pretty good shape.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, Craig. Well, thank you for taking the time to be with us this morning. We hope to have you on soon again. All right.
Yeah, my pleasure, man. Take care.
All right, you too.